How's it going, everyone? John here. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about whether or not you should be streaming on smaller platforms. Just like in my previous video, I talked about the pros and cons to streaming on the bigger platforms like Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at that video, be sure to take a look at the card above or go to the video description below and you'll be able to find the link there. Now, before I get into today's video, I do want to talk about today's sponsored, which is Own.pro. This is a plugin for your OBS Studio if you stream using OBS Studio. And with this plugin, you'll have access to over hundreds of alerts and overlays that you can use in your stream to make your streams look professional. And that way you can customize it to how you want your stream to look without needing to go and pay for an expensive designer or anything like that. Now, it is subscription based as well, and there's a ton of other features, so I definitely recommend you go and taking a look at all the different features that is offered on there. There are some free options with the Own.pro, and if you are wanting to use it, be sure to use my promo code CreoVox to get an additional 50% off of your subscription, no matter if it's for a month or if it's for the full year. So definitely take advantage of that 50% off by using CreoVox at the end during checkout. That way you'll be able to really utilize this plugin and make your streams look good. All right, so let's talk about the pros and cons to streaming on smaller platforms, starting with the pros. And the first one is growing with the actual platform. Now, if you think about back when Twitch was Justin.tv, you had a lot of these people who were streaming on there when streaming was not even really a thing, and probably laughable for a lot of people who said that they streamed themselves to people across the world, whether they're playing video games or whatever the case may be. But those type of individuals who stayed on Justin.tv and then Twitch.tv were able to become some of the more popular and wealthy streamers that we know today. And with that, we kind of feel that with streaming on smaller platforms, we hope that one day the platform that we're on blows up and brings some competition into the actual space that we're streaming in, and maybe one day you actually get that opportunity of that rapid growth and being able to turn it into a full-time career like some of these people that have done on other platforms. The other thing that's really great about a smaller platform is you have a sense of community, which is number two. Having that sense of community between your viewers and your streamers really helps you connect with everybody, and you are able to form friendships and they're able to relate to you and you're able to relate to them. So it actually feels more of like a community. And that is something that a lot of people look for, whether they're in forums or through YouTubers, just watching their videos and stuff like that. And same thing with streaming. So that is a really good pro, and that is something that a lot of people felt when they were streaming over on Mixer. And that was one of the things that I loved about Mixer, was the community side of things and how you were able to really make friendships and bond with the people who wanted to support you and those that you wanted to support and stuff like that. And even though Mixer's no longer here, I still talk to a lot of the people that I had made friendships over there, and we still support each other. So that is a really important thing when it comes to having a community on a smaller platform. And the third one and the last one so far for the pros, and there's many more, but I didn't want to spend too much time on pros and cons, but being able to provide feedback to that platform to innovate it and make it worth something that people would want to go to and stream on and be a part of, and being able to provide those developers ideas and feedback to make it better, to give you the overall better experience for streaming and to also give the viewers a better experience as well. All right, so let's talk about the cons to streaming on the smaller platforms, starting with the lack of viewership or lack of exposure. With these smaller platforms, they have a hard time getting over this hurdle because they sit in the shadows of the big giants, which are going to be Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. And with that, it makes it really hard for them to get the traction that they need. So when you are streaming on these smaller platforms, you can't really expect a giant amount of growth and amount of viewership and exposure because a lot of people just don't know the name of where you're streaming. And I ran into that problem when I streamed on Beam before it got acquired by Microsoft and the name changed to Mixer. Once that, it hit some headlines and stuff like that, and they were able to acquire some streamers to kind of pull in the viewership and exposure. They were really trying to do that, but it just didn't work, on top of many other reasons as to why Mixer went under. But that is one of the biggest issues, is trying to get people to come over to a platform they've never heard of and trying to get them to be part of that ecosystem and building a community there and everything like that, when everyone already knows about the big giants. So that is one of the biggest issues. Another one is the risk of the platform getting shut down, very similar to what happened with Mixer. So you could be streaming over on this platform, say, for a few years, and you're comfortable, but then all of a sudden they pull the plug. And this could happen on bigger platforms too, don't get me wrong, but as I've mentioned in my previous video, it's very unlikely to happen, but it still could. But it's more likely to happen on smaller platforms if investors and developers and such don't really see a lot of change in the platform in terms of new people signing up, new people coming and watching, because they got to put all this stuff on servers, and they got to spend the money to keep everything up and running. They got to pay all these other people to do all these things. So it just really comes down to, are they getting their return on their investment? And is there signs of actual growth in terms of new users and new people coming by and watching and stuff like that? So that's also a really big risk when it comes to streaming on smaller platforms. And then number 3, and this is going to be the last one for the cons. Again, there's many cons. I just didn't want to spend too much time. But the last one would be that there is a lack of third-party support, and that can really hurt a platform. If there's nothing more than just the vanilla, where you just have have your basic chat, have basic commands, you can stream at 1080p, there's no real innovation to it, it's just bare bones basic, and you're not getting any type of development from anybody that's trying to do anything, whether it's extensions like we have over on Twitch, or if it's some type of third-party bot support like we have with Mix It Up. If there's nothing out there that's really trying to make the experience of the platform better, and developers are just not even wanting to spend the time, then that is bad. That means that there's nothing new going to it. It's not going to attract anybody to it, and there's only so much a streamer can do on that platform versus something like, say, Twitch, where they have so many third-party extensions that really innovate the stream, that really brings more to the stream than just the vanilla, hey, I'm going to stream a game. So that is a definite big one, I would think, for third-party support needing to be applied to these smaller platforms to even give them some type of edge. And that's what Mixer was doing too, with the FTL, the faster than light protocol, and the interactive soundboard that they were doing, and the sparks and stuff like that. Like, they were really adding extra stuff that we didn't really see in many places. Now, granted, sparks were very similar to bits and so on and so forth, and that's kind of traveled along to other different platforms as well. But the way that they did their sparks and everything like that was a bit more innovative than just, hey, here's some bits. All right, so the final question, should you be streaming on a smaller platform? And the answer is yes. Streaming on a smaller platform allows you to build a community, learn the ropes of streaming, and finding out if you want to actually invest in streaming and try to turn it into a career. There's always the potential of the actual platform blowing up, and if you're doing really well on that platform, then you'll be able to go with it and hopefully even turn it into a career. Now, after all the knowledge and everything you've learned from streaming on a small platform, if you still feel that you want to go off to a bigger platform, that's perfectly fine. You can even try to do like one stream on a smaller platform, one on a big, and just kind of test the waters with both and see if you want to actually make that jump to a big one or stay in a small one. The possibilities are absolutely endless. But honestly, streaming on a smaller platform is a lot of fun. I did it when Mixer was around, and I loved every single second of it. But guys, let's talk about more of this in the comment section below. Do you have any pros and cons to streaming on a smaller platform? If you stream on a smaller platform, which one do you stream on? And if you left a smaller platform, which one did you go to? Which of the big three did you go to start streaming on? And of course, I always have to ask why to your answer. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to go ahead and take a look at the other content on the channel. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Take care.